Assalamualaikum dear students. My topic is after 20 years. The author is O. Henry. His real name is William Porter Sidney. William Porter Sidney is a great short story writer. His short stories have a nice, well-knit plots and nice themes, excellent themes, and the characters are very famous. His characters that have been produced by this O. Henry, and this one such example of is after 20 years. In this, we know now as far as the character sketches, if we have to make the character sketch of the only two characters, main characters. One is this Bob, and another one is Jimmy Wallace. If we take the character of Bob, as far as the physique is concerned, that is really one is that he lit the light. That fellow that showed he is a scab jawed man, very strong jawed man, and there is a mark on his right eyebrow. Besides that, he has a very keen eyes. This is a very strong man, well strongly built man he is, and as far this, he's very ambitious. He's very ambitious to get more and more to make his fortune. That's why he bought it from his friend. This William, Jimmy Wallace. Sorry, Jimmy Wallace. He bought from him on this particular, so that I can go to West and earn more and more money and make my fortune. But on once he came, he really had made his fortune. But some things, but that was by unfair means. That means he had turned a criminal there. He once said that I have to compete there with the sharpest wits there, and I have to be. I have been hustling there, meaning nudging, pushing, knocking for this purpose. I have been all the time engaged in my job and engaged in my work to get more and more. And because it is clear from his face, because from this scar that he has turned a criminal, and he has become by underhand means he had earned that money. And but he was a nice man also. That's why he has promised his friend. They had agreed to meet there after 20 years, but he was loyal to his friend, and he came back to meet his friend there. He was there on the appointed time. On that appointed time of 10 o'clock, he was sitting. Though he has come a long way, 1,000 miles away, he had come from that place here. And as far as this Jimmy is concerned, Jimmy Wallace was a little bit plodder. He was also he was very loyal. According to him, he was a very staunchest and truest, meaning very, very loyal. He cannot ignore anything. He cannot forget that appointment. If he is alive, he will come. It was said by this Bob. Means he was a very honest man. And another thing, he was not as ambitious as this Bob was. So he did not leave his native place, that is New York, and he thought that New York was the only place in the world. So he would not like to come out of that place, and he was there. He had at the end we found that he had become a patrolman, a policeman. Means he had not earned much. He is just an employee. And contrary to Bob who has become criminal, but that he has earned a huge amount, a lot of money he had earned there. This was all about the character. We can just talk about the significance of the title after 20 years. The title is 20 years, and that's a very important thing. That because the two friends who had separated, who had parted from each other, only this particular step they will meet after 20 years. This is a huge gap of time, and that time they will consume to earn, make their ascent, make their fortune, and they will return. And that's what happened at the end. The Bob came from the West, and he had earned a huge amount, but he had turned criminal, and he was arrested by the police there because he was wanted by the Chicago police of America. And it's very nice and excellent and very apt this title that has been given to this short story after 20 years. dramatic elements are there. So many dramatic elements. That's very important thing to discuss in this story. First point that the man Bob, who had come a long way, and he was standing there in the darkness, and the policeman, he was patrolling there. He could not recognize because it was pitch dark. It was a bit raining, and the man had what you call it, the cigar, unlit cigar, that was not lighted cigar in his mouth. So once the policeman came to him, reached him, he just lit the cigar, and the light fell on his face, and he could recognize it. Later on, he revealed that it was your face. I understood that the man is wanted by the Chicago police. I could not arrest you. He sent somebody else to. This is a dramatic point, to have a cigar, unlit cigar in his mouth. Another thing, the man is rich, and he had made a lot of fortune. He was having that scarf rather, and that is tied with a scarf pin, and scarf pin is of a diamond scarf pin, and that shows that he is a rich man. And besides that, there is a marker on his injury mark on his face, on the right eyebrow. This shows that he is a criminal, and usually when we have to portray the criminals on the screen or any story, we usually show them having the injury marks on their face, and this one is that is the dramatic element. And many more things are there. Besides that, moreover, he just pulled a pocket watch from his pocket, and its lid was set with diamonds. That also shows that he is a rich man. These are some pointers that they play an important role in the development of the story. And as far as the grammatical section is concerned, at the end of the textual question, there is given a grammatical that this article or superlative degree rather, superlative degree, just truest, staunchest. These are the superlative degree of the adjective. As we know, there are three degrees of adjective: positive, comparative, and superlative. When we use, we have to know the rules of that. We generally, when we have to make the superlative degree, we add est, or sometimes most, est, true, truer, truest, staunchest, beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. These are superlative. And superlative, when we use superlative, we have to use the article the staunchest, the most beautiful, or the longest, the tallest. We can use. These are the superlative degrees that have been used in this, and we have to take the note of these things as well. Okay. Besides this superlative degrees, you will be asked reference to the context from this lesson. I have just given one small reference for your comprehension. That's over here. You bet. I hope Jimmy has done hope as well. He was a kind of a plodder, though good fellow he was. This is reference to the context. So we have to write one reference. These lines have been taken from the short story After 20 Years, written by O. Henry. Context, in what context this has been said, because the policeman, he was talking to Bob, and he said, well, I think you have earned a huge amount here, you have made good fortune there. And in the line is under reference, Bob says, yes, you bet, you are right, you bet, you are right. I hope Jimmy has done half as well, means he had earned half of it, he has not done as good as I have done. He was a kind of a plodder, because he was very, plodder means very lazy. He was a laborious person, and he would not have earned that much. He was not as witty, as quick as I was, said by this Bob, though good fellow he was, but in the same breath he said he was a good fellow, he was a nice man, he was a good fellow. With this I conclude today's lecture.